Lego Batman movie's overrated. Look, I realize that it's for kids, and that complaining about it is pointless in the big scheme of things in the universe, and that we'll all die when the sun explodes one day, but screw it, I'm gonna do it anyway. Why the Lego Batman movie is frustrating. Number 1, is it a comedy? Let's say we have two basketball players. They are of equal distance away from the hoop. One of them shoots twice and gets 2 shots in. The other shoots 10 times and gets 3 shots in, but misses 7. Who is better at basketball? While one of them got more shots in, they made more attempts and now has a 30% strike rate. However, the other made less shots and now they have a 100% strike rate. Mathematically, the latter player is better at shooting and more likely than the other to get the next shot in. What this out-of-nowhere analogy refers to is the jokes in the Lego Batman movie. The movie shoots for and makes so many jokes, but unfortunately only about 30% of them actually land. Out of those 30%, I wouldn't have even laughed at all of them. I feel like you don't need to laugh at a joke for it to be funny, and while what makes us laugh is subjective and depends on our sense of humour, I feel like we can still recognise when a joke of another type of humour is funny or not. For example, I really like slapstick and visual jokes, and I don't like jokes based on references as much. But if a reference joke is good, I might not laugh, but I'll acknowledge it's still a good joke. For example,
what about that time with the 2 boats?
This is better than the 2 boats.
I didn't laugh at that, but it still counts in my 30% because it's a good joke. Going back to the basketball metaphor, I would rather watch a movie with not many jokes, but they're all good ones, instead of a movie with a joke per minute, where most of the jokes are
pants are just a little tight. I got an idea.
My point is, the Lego Batman movie is supposed to be a comedy, but it's really not that funny. My viewing experience goes, ha! Ugh, that was dumb. Oh, seriously? Oh my god. Who wrote this? Heard that one before. That one didn't even make sense. Some of the jokes even contradict each other. Like the Suicide Squad joke. Batman references the Suicide Squad, implying that it would be cool to be a part of the team. Then, 5 minutes later, he says how stupid the idea is. It is a stupid idea. That joke could have worked if you didn't do that dumb, pointless reference earlier. Basic character consistency gets sacrificed for the sake of dumb jokes. Overall, this just becomes really annoying, and frankly, The Dark Knight is funnier to me simply because it has a much better joke strike rate. Why is the dark and serious one for adults better at making jokes than the fun, silly one for kids? That leads into my next point. Is this for kids? Remember the whole 2 boats joke from before? What kids would get that joke? Children of bad parents who let them watch The Dark Knight. But other kids would just be confused.
2 boats? Was that in the Lego movie?
I didn't see The Dark Knight until I was like 11. This would be aimed at kids younger than that, surely. Kids movies that are just made for the parents, but are animated with a PG rating, are the worst kids movies. Why does Lego Batman get a pass? One of the first things on screen is a quote from Michael Jackson. What kids know who Michael Jackson is? He's way before their time. That joke is clearly for the parents.
If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change.
That seems to be the thesis, if you will. The theme, the message this movie is trying to give us. This message is handled clumsier than a monkey flying a plane. There are 2 problems. A, how predictable and plain the message is, and B, how unsubtly it's utilized in the film. Telling kids not to be an arsehole is the most basic message you could ever present in a movie. It's also redundant because the parents are already telling them that all the time. The worst types of kids movies are ones where the message is, don't lie, be nice, or go play outside. Because parents are already telling them that. Do they really need Batman to tell them that as well? For some reason, Lego Batman once again gets a pass. Why? I find this especially disappointing because the Lego movie was so ingenious with its messages that it's hard to put the movie's themes into a thesis, into one sentence. It needs to be told through a story. It teaches so much about creativity and being unique and comfortable in your own skin. I could watch the Lego movie for the 4th time and still find something new I didn't notice before. But with Lego Batman, I already knew everything it had to offer from the trailers. It just repeats the same sentence over and over again, just to drill the ideas right into everyone's brains. Be nice. Don't be mean. Listen to people. Don't be rude. Other people are people too. In the end, the movie comes off as shallow. No depth, no substance. Nothing underneath the surface. The Lego Batman movie reminds me of Illumination Entertainment movies, when the Lego movie reminded me of Pixar at its best. Don't tell me that it's allowed to be dumb just because it's a kids movie. Disney, Pixar, DreamWorks, and the Lego movie itself have showed that children are capable of watching and understanding films with deep thoughts. Films that bring up questions, films that make you think. Lego Batman made me dumber. And it should be so much better than this. Which brings me to my final reason this film is frustrating. The DCEU has been crushingly disappointing for me with its interpretations of Batman, and I wanted a movie that could tip the scales, show them how to make a Batman film without making it overly dark. The Nolan films were great, but I was ready for a new direction. Ready for a Batman film that feels like a Batman comic. The Lego Batman movie travels in as much the wrong direction as Batman vs Superman did, just a different wrong direction. You can make Batman stories for children. The animated series did it for years, but you have to be smarter than this. There actually has to be something to the story instead of the bare minimum. Zootopia showed children could love a detective story. Why didn't you do that with Batman? The world's greatest detective? Why didn't you have a movie with a smart lead? Intelligence is Batman's greatest superpower, yet he's an idiot in every version put to film so far. Just more so in some than others. Showing that brain beats brawn would have been a message that not every movie has, and one that relates specifically to Batman. Think about this. Why does this movie have to be about Batman, of all superheroes? Trick question, it doesn't. They could have made this about literally anybody and it would have been the same movie. The Lego Spider-Man movie, the Lego Superman movie, it doesn't matter. This movie is just greedy in the way it uses the combined brand recognition of both Batman and the Lego movie, and then with that combined power, makes less money than both. It started so strong as well. Despite a couple of crap jokes and dumb moments, the opening scene was really engaging, and the presence of all of Batman's villains was awesome to watch as a fan. I would really like to see a sequence like that one day in a proper Batman movie. But the hype I got from the first scene just dissipated gradually over the rest of the movie until I was just bored waiting for it to finish so I could have some credibility to complain about it online later on. Anyway, there's my rant about the Lego Batman movie. Yeah, I know, pointless. I'm going to start a rating system at the end of each review. It's like Rotten Tomatoes but with more options. So it goes rotten, which is all bad films, fresh is not bad films, ripe is good films, and juicy is great films. Every time I say one of these, don't try to think of it mathematically out of 10. It's just 4 words, and you're better off thinking of it as just bad, not bad, good, and great. The Lego Batman movie gets a rotten.